If you want to know the best drunken build in Ghost of Yotei, you are in the right place. With more than 150 hours of in-game experience, I went back to the drawing board and optimized my Drunken Samurai build. A build that can clear a group of enemies with hard-hitting unblockable attacks, capable of dealing maximum stagger damage, and even has access to a huge amount of spirit gains that will allow you to spam healing, spirit attacks, and special skills. So if you are looking for the best spirit offensive build in the game, the Drunken Samurai build is for you. To have the best drunken and spirit-oriented build, nothing beats the Mercenary armor. It is already one of the best armor sets in the game before the latest patch hits, but now, its effects are even crazier. Its first passive increases the damage of thrown weapons and spirit generation by a major amount, allowing the user to almost one-shot regular enemies with a thrown weapon equipped while also giving them immense spirit gains in every kill. So you will be charging your spirit charges fast. On the other hand, you do have constant access to the Dance of Wrath skill, so you will be disarming targets frequently, giving you the chance to produce thrown weapons often. But the greatest passive that the Mercenary armor provides is the ability to produce raw spirit charges by just drinking sake. In the past, this effect only provides a major amount of spirit charges, but the latest update turned the effect into massive gains, allowing you to gain a whopping 3 full charges of spirit in every sake intake, which is totally nuts in this configuration. You do have 6 sake charges in this build, so you can imagine how much spirit gains you do have access to. The third passive of this armor makes it even more broken, especially in regular fights, giving you 100% sake drops in every assassination kill you perform. If you are following the channel, you know how it is easy for you to score chain assassinations in every use of smoke bombs. In every chain assassination you perform, you do get 2 sakes in the process, and that is nuts, not counting the ones that you can normally get from sake drops. With that having said, you can spam spirit techniques or even have access to healing and revives without a hassle. And if you are getting value so far, subscribe to the channel. Liking the video and engaging in the comments helps me more than you can imagine. You will be dealing unblockable attacks when using this build, and using the Oni's Flame will give you even more chances of dealing the said attack, because buffing your weapon with fire also renders your weapon unblockable and increases its damage in the process. So slotting in the Charm of Homosubi is suggested for even more damage increase, while if you are new to the game, you can easily change the Charm of Homosubi to Charm of Futsunushi, so performing perfect parries and dodges will be easier. And then later on, you can switch back to Charm of Homosubi if you master your timings already. And of course, the new charms comes into play in making this build work. And the Charm of the Drunkard makes your attacks unblockable when in a drunken state, which is 80% of the time in this specific build. You can easily access the drunken state by just taking at least 1 sake, and if you can remember, we do have tons of sake to burn, or we can easily produce it through chain assassinations. So you can easily spam your normal attacks to deal hard hitting and direct focus and normal attacks. In regular fights, this will allow you to skip the process of staggering enemies and going in for the kill much faster. This charm also increases the duration of your drunken state by a major amount, allowing you to have access to unblockable attacks for a longer duration. The Charm of the Drunken Mastery allows you to deal maximum stagger damage when in drunken state. Now you might be wondering, why do you need maximum stagger damage if your attacks are already unblockable in the first place, right? To answer this question, this charm plays a minor role in regular fights but gives you a strong advantage when participating in duels. You see, enemy bosses in duels tends to dodge and reposition themselves always when getting hit by a unblockable attack once. So you can just jump in and spam regular unblockable attacks until the enemy dies. You can observe this when using the Oni's Flame and when performing unblockable attacks when in drunken state. So in duels, you will be using the right weapon type still to deal the highest stagger damage possible, so this is where the Charm of Drunkard Mastery comes in. You will be surprised how strong your stagger damage can be, and you can see here that the maximum stagger damage bonus is taking in effect by changing its color to orange, allowing you to deal direct damage once the enemy gets staggered and end the fight much faster. To have the best spirit setup in the game, we need our meta spirit charms, like the Charm of Abundant Drink. This gives you yet another sake charge, allowing you to have access to 6 full sake charges in total, which is insane. You can do this by spending Ghost Flowers and upgrading your sake charge with a newly introduced merchant in New Game Plus, and you can find it located near Atsu's home. And if you want to easily max all of your weapon upgrades to deal the most serious damage possible, which is suggested to maximize this build, or or even max out your armor and sake upgrades, watch my Ghost Flower farming guide, which is linked in the description, or find it by clicking the card here. The Charm of Unhealthy Resolve is already a staple spirit charm that gives this build a major amount of spirit gains in every enemy kill. The maximum health penalty effect of this charm is insignificant compared to the trade-off it provides. The Charm of Enduring Resolves gives you a major chance of 1 spirit refund whenever you use your spirit techniques. You'll be using a lot of spirit techniques in this build, so the possible refunds will give you more chances of dishing out spirit attacks. Not to mention that having this charm will give you higher chances to maintain your spirit charges before consuming your sakes. When it comes to regular fights, you can pretty much use any weapon you want, since all of your melee attack weapons are unblockable. While I tend to use my max upgraded Odachi to deal heavy swings on target and take them down easily. A max upgraded Kusarigama can take down multiple enemies, since you can just spam the weapon's AoE focus and unblockable attacks and wipe enemies in a flash even without the Oni's Flame active. Speaking of Oni's Flames, it is highly suggested in this build to maximize your damage, and even gives you more chances of dealing unblockable attacks, just in case you already ran out of sake and can't enter the drunken state. And of course, the broken smoke bomb sub-weapon is the key component in making this build work, allowing you to produce 2 sakes in every chain assassinations you perform. When it comes to the key skills, I am expecting that all of your weapon skill tree is already maxed, but just in case you haven't done so, dealing the highest stagger damage is your priority, so unlocking upgrades that surround stagger damage are a must, while also unlocking all spirit attacks across all weapon types is mandatory, so you can perform and spam spirit attacks to overwhelm enemies. The Drunken Samurai build utilizes maximum stagger damage and unblockable attacks on targets while in drunken state. Players can maintain the drunken state by allowing them to have constant access to sake and then produce immense spirit in the process. This is the best spirit and drunken setup in the game currently, which is made possible by equipping the newly upgraded mercenary attire, combined with the newly introduced drunken charms and the best spirit charms in the game, and this allows access to broken spirit generation's capabilities. We do have a lot of ways to play this build effectively, but what I usually do in regular fights is start hitting and disarming targets with a Dance of Wrath skill to free up 3 spirit charges in the process and start throwing weapons. And then I will perform spirit attacks to use even more spirit charges, and then drinking sake to have access to the drunken state to perform unblockable attacks. Once the drunken state expires, you can easily just drink another sake to return to the said state and enjoy its effects. While it is easy to just produce and drink sake one after another in this build, try to manage your sake and maximize each use by only drinking it once when it is absolutely needed or when the drunken state already expired, because you need to be in this state always. Poor management of sake often leads to poor spirit generation, and too much sake will blur your visuals horribly and also make Atsu vomit and be open for attacks. And as mentioned, once you run out of sake, you can simply use the smoke bomb and get your sake back to 6 charges again by just spamming chain assassinations, allowing you to maintain high spirit generation and its playstyle. As previously mentioned, you can easily perform the Kusarigama's AoE attacks and take out multiple targets fast, since your attacks are unblockable, while also giving you the chance to produce more sake as regular drops. Just in case you run out of sake completely and can't produce it through assassinations, you can use the Oni's Flame to give you more chances of dealing hard-hitting and unblockable attacks. When it comes to duels, what I usually do is perform the Dance of Wrath skill to deal significant damage right off the bat, and then take sake to access my drunken state. During this state, make sure to use the right weapon types to deal the highest stagger damage possible and break bosses' stances easily. You will be surprised how fast the Odachi can break enemy stances when doing its focus attacks because of its unique stagger passive and the immense stagger damage that the new charms provide. But what if you want to know the fastest way to farm ghost flowers to get all of the upgrades easily? This video has all of the bells and whistles, so click on it and I will catch you on the next one.